pressure.
For you.
Oh, thanks.
Oh, you had that great response.
I don't really do well under pressure. Yeah. Oh yeah, this is the first time I've ever had to think on my feet as an audience member. I was like, oh, I didn't know this was my line. I'm sorry. Yeah, so my name is Michael Valentine, yeah, that's the name. I always thought I had like the coolest holiday name. I actually came across somebody who had the last name at Christmas the past couple days. I went, you're shitting me. I was like, that fucking happens? Who was that? I was like, wow, really? Yeah.
Was her name Holly?
No. I don't remember the first name. Who cares what the first name was? The last name was Christmas. And today, I shit you not, came across somebody whose last name was Good Enough. Spelled Good Enough. I went, well, that'll do. I'm sure I'll meet somebody with that name too. It'll be great. Oh god, yeah. So I too, like we've discussed here, being the one to the litter, shall we say, the unplanned. I was the third kid. You know, my parents, they had a boy, they had a girl, and then my dad was like, hey, one boy, one girl, we're done. And my mom said, I'm pregnant. There was that. I don't know, I've heard several versions of this story, because, you know, parents lie. And I asked my mom once, I was like, Mom, was I planned or was I a mistake? She's like, well, a little bit of both, honey. You see, at first we planned to have you, and then it turned out to be a huge mistake. She was kidding. I think. No, but I did it. I was one of those who used to believe everything my parents said because I was stupid. And yeah, you know, kids are stupid. Don't they? But yeah, I did. I was like, oh, Mom, Dad, how did you meet? Oh, we met at an ice cream parlor. I was like, oh, that explains why I love ice cream, because there could be no other reason. And yeah, but no, I later found out they met at a bar. I was like, what? My parents were tricky. Yeah, oh my god, it was so earth-shattering. It was terrible. Now I've discovered, as I've gotten older, I've discovered a lot of interesting things. I am to preface this, I am prefacing this by saying I'm a man who dates men. So, I know men are disgusting. Men are freaking pigs. Have you ever noticed that? I've been to clubs where, even like straight clubs, I guess you call them, they're probably just called clubs, but probably what they call them when they're not gay clubs, they're just straight clubs. They're just clubs. But I've been to clubs where, and it's amazing how you see, I mean, some ladies out here will probably test, men are fucking pigs about shit, aren't they? There was a time, you know, a man would send you a drink, you'd be like, oh, okay, thanks. No, stay there. Thanks. Yeah, but that, no, Now they send you a drink that's like this, a bargain has been struck, a contract has been struck. You have to send that thing back or they're coming to you. They're coming, hey girl, yo girl, I'm not doing it well, but yo girl, it's just like, oh hey, how you doing girl? Oh, you liking that drink girl? It's like, go away. It really is, it's disgusting. And what is every straight man's fantasy? What is it? Come on, you know, it's 2 women.
Anal.
Really? I was like, seriously? Come on. 3? I don't date any women. 3? That's fucking greedy. That's just greedy at that point. I don't get that. I don't date women at all. I knew what I was doing. I was ducking that. No. Really, you need that at the end? It's like, oh, that was great, baby. It's like, well, glad you thought so. You need 2 people telling you that? You really need 2 people telling you that? Really need the end. Hold me. We never talk. What are you thinking right now? Oh, Jesus. You don't want that, fellas. I swear. You don't. And it's the truth. Men are fucking pigs. They could come home, find their wife of 10 years having sex with another woman, they would think it's the greatest thing. They would think it's the absolute greatest thing. Like, oh, Jesus, this is awesome. Like, no, it's not. Hey, do you fellas know? This just means you haven't been doing it for 10 years. But, you know, women are a little different. I think we can all agree. Women, they come home to, you know, find their husband, you know, bending over one of his bowling buddies. It's not gonna... They're not thinking about that later. It's okay, honey, he bought me a drink. And the guy turns around, hey, girl. Jeez. It's the last thing you fucking need in a day. But you know, all those ladies who've ever been married to gay men, they all knew, except for Michelle Bachman. But everybody else, they all knew. They were all like, yeah, that explains a lot. But no, it was interesting for me because I never really came out. I didn't have the big coming out because it was just, otherwise how else would people know? But I didn't. I never had this really big coming out. So what I did, I just wrote a book. I did. I did. I wrote a book. It's called Child of Love by Michael Valentine, available on Amazon. And I just sort of didn't tell anybody I was writing. I just sort of wrote it, put it out there, and just said, hey, people, buy my book. And that's how my dad got to find out. Allegedly, he says he knew, but I'll just take his word for it. And it was, maybe I should have given him a little heads up, because the book's not pornographic, but it's pornographic. And so, but I think it came in best in a text I got from my stepmom, and she was just like, well, some parts of it made me blush, but other than that, it was really good. Which I think is the best you can hope for with your parents reading a sex scene you wrote. Because the last thing you want to hear from them is, wow, that was hot. Even worse, that's not how it works. Let me explain. Oh, Jesus, no. My God, yeah. I don't know what it was about my dad who felt like... My dad felt the need to tell me things that I didn't need to know. And I also... But I guess it's fair because I always felt comfortable just asking anything. I hear something, I was like, oh, what's that? Let me ask my parents. I'm sure they'll be fine with it. So I do. Seriously, I went home. One day I was just like, Mom, Dad, what's a dildo? Where did you hear that? Well, I'm 8. I hang out here and at school. Do you talk about it? Then my dad, being, the mature grown adult he was, just like, now I got that he was saying it's a rubber dick. I did catch that. What he did not explain, what he did not clarify for me, is this is a separate man-made apparatus and not something that happens to people. And I was like, oh my God, like, how common is this? I was like, this is what happens when you don't eat your vegetables. I fucking hate those things. I'm never complain about my vegetables again. Anybody here having kids, now you know how to make it work. Eat your vegetables or you're getting a dildo. Take it out of context, that might not sound great. So how I can't go back, I can't recover from that. I just coming back from that. There it is. All right. Well, I want to thank you all for finding me as funny as I always hope to be. This is absolutely awesome here.